It's dear to the heart of every player. A trophy to cherish, a prize to win. Many are those who will stand to be counted. Few are those with a real chance to win. In 1977, 28 teams will vie for professional sport's most coveted prize. But this is how it was 1 year ago, in our bicentennial season. Opening day in Oakland, California. Pro football's two superpowers renew their classic rivalry. Through 3 1/2 quarters, the world champion Steelers milked opportunity for 28 points and a commanding 2-touchdown advantage. But with time running out, Ken Stabler rallied the Raiders to a tie, setting up a game-winning field goal that left psychological scars on Pittsburgh for weeks to come. But if Pittsburgh and Oakland believed themselves to be alone atop the American Football Conference, they were mistaken. In '76, a team from New England arrived on the scene, its flags to autumn's breeze unfurled. Here boldly a second-year quarterback stood, then fired a shot heard round the world. In week 2, Miami fell to New England's finest Patriot, but the critics merely sighed. Let's see him beat the Steel Curtain next week. Then we'll be satisfied. And so in week 3, Steve Grogan passed the Steel Curtain ragged. But still the critics weren't impressed. Pittsburgh had an off day, they said. They didn't play their best. Let's see the kid beat Oakland. Now that will be the real test. With consecutive wins over Miami, Pittsburgh, and Oakland, Steve Grogan and the New England Patriots made believers of the critics, while taking a step up to join the AFC's elite. But even the Patriots couldn't win them all in the AFC. That distinction belonged to still another conference powerhouse. While New England was finding success in Steve Grogan's gutsy leadership, Baltimore was flying high on Bert Jones's brilliant right arm. Bert Jones and number 81, Roger Carr, collaborated on some of the year's prettiest scoring plays. Covering Roger Carr became the toughest assignment in football. and Bert Jones never hesitated to take advantage. Pro football's most explosive offense, and there was more. For Baltimore also owned a group of pass rushers known as the Sack Pack. 4 sturdy young men whose play was the determining factor in Baltimore's victory in New England. The Sack Pack and Mr. Jones. At mid-season, nobody in the AFC looked better. In the National Football Conference, divisional races are more predictable. Bud Grant's Vikings still own the Central Division, while Chuck Knox's Rams remain in the driver's seat out west. Only the names change from year to year. Last year, Minnesota unveiled first-year wide receiver Sammy White, whose 10 touchdowns earned him the nod as NFC Rookie of the Year. Not to be outdone, the Rams installed rookie Pat Hayden at quarterback, settling once and for all the Rams' annual game of musical chairs at that position. But despite offensive improvements, basically the Rams and Vikings are ball-controlled, defense-oriented football teams. In Week 2, they battled 5 full quarters but could not resolve a 10-10 tie, beating each other into oblivion in the process. But while the Vikes and Rams staggered home with a draw, another old contender was priming for a title fight. Down in Irving, Texas, Roger Staubach and the Cowboys were off to one of their finest starts ever. Staubach was hitting an amazing 75% of his passes, while Dallas's doomsday defense was at its brutal best, making a visit to Texas Stadium a real headache. By mid-season, Dallas was ensconced atop the Eastern Division. And so, attention turned to a Monday night monsoon in Washington. The St. Louis Cardinals were in town to battle the Redskins for second place, but George Allen's special teams stole the show. Number 25, Eddie Brown, hydroplaned 71 yards for the game-breaking score, as Washington kept pace with St. Louis for the NFC wildcard playoff berth. But in the NFC East, the handwriting was on the wall. In head-to-head divisional matchups, Roger Staubach hung the Redskins high, while doomsday hung both teams out to dry. And so, when undefeated Dallas met powerful Baltimore, many called the game a Super Bowl preview. It had all the makings of a good one. But while teams like Dallas and Baltimore occupy one end of the NFL spectrum, at the other end are the also-rans. Teams for whom frustration is a constant companion. Consolation comes in digging a play out of a grade school playbook, then using it to upset a contender. But for most also-rans, the sad reality is that victory is the exception rather than the rule. But team failure does not tarnish brilliant individual accomplishments. Buffalo won only twice in '76, but the incomparable O.J. once again rewrote his record book, this time for most yards rushing in a single game. Young running backs like Chicago's Walter Payton headed a list of 12 1,000-yard rushes, most ever in a single season. 249 first-year players made NFL debuts, such as Clark Gaines of the New York Jets. But no first-year player had more immediate impact than number 40, Mike Haynes of New England. Haynes single-handedly broke the Jones to Carr connection in New England's November rematch with the Colts as the Patriots advanced to the playoffs. But November brought no playoff berths for the also-rans. For them, there is only the hollow memory of 1976's desperation and the undying hope that in 1977, they'll be able to get back on their feet. With the coming of winter, only one playoff spot in each conference remains. In the AFC, the crucial game matched Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, a chance for the Bengals to snap Pittsburgh's 6-game win streak and knock them out of the playoffs. But even in the white stuff, Pittsburgh's success formula remained the same. Opportunistic defense that stripped the Bengals of the football in a critical situation. Then, a league-leading ground attack that snowballed Pittsburgh into the lead. The Bengals tried to battle back, but a slippery carpet and a steel curtain wouldn't allow it. So once again, Pittsburgh would get a taste of the playoffs, while the Bengals would settle down for a long winter's nap. But down in the heat of Irving, Texas, a long winter's nap was precisely what the Washington Redskins were trying to avoid. In Dallas, fans are crazy about their football team, and with good reason. For by the season's final Sunday, Dallas had clinched its 10th playoff spot in 11 years. But Dallas fans show little love for the Cowboys' key Eastern Division rival. And so, into this friendly environment, the Redskins came needing a victory to make the playoffs. A loss, and the Cardinals would play instead.
Let's make them eat their words. Be physical. Come Stick it to him, Dickie!
Got it, dog it.
Despite their intensity, the Redskins fell behind. But George Allen's team knows when to reach back for that something extra.
You gotta get it, you got it! Come on now. Come on, no mistakes, no mistakes. Concentrate, concentrate.
Punch it in there.
Dig it, Calvin, dig it, dig it.
Washington reached back and found victory. Dallas ate its words. For George Allen's proud old pros, time to celebrate a playoff berth.
Three cheers for the Redskins. Hip, hip.
But making the playoffs and staying in them are different matters altogether. While the Redskins fell in the opening round of Minnesota, Dallas's pass pocket was dismantled by the Rams. as both Eastern Division teams were battered into submission. In the AFC, Burt Jones and company ran into a steel curtain. It was strictly no contest. While out in Oakland, despite ample incentive, the Raiders still needed a last-second touchdown to bring New England's Cinderella season to an end. Four teams left. For them, the season had just begun. Pittsburgh, back in form and riding a 10-game winning streak. Oakland, doing them one better with 11 straight wins. Los Angeles, 11 victories with a rookie quarterback at the helm. Minnesota, 12 wins with an old pro and his newest deep threat. But after the first round of the playoffs, only 3 teams could celebrate. For the fourth, victory had been costly.
And welcome to Metropolitan Stadium in cold Bloomington, Minnesota, the National Football Conference championship game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams slight underdogs against the Vikings on this cold, sunny afternoon. These two teams battled to a 10-10 tie during the regular season. The winner today goes on to the Super Bowl in Pasadena on January 9th.
On their opening drive, the Rams powered their way on the ground to the Viking 1-yard line. But the Rams went no further, and the stage was set for crucial play number 1.
Dempsey in to try for the field goal. This is a chip shot. There's a snap, a bit high. The ball is down. The kick is blocked. Into the end, touchdown. The Vikes are going to score. It's Bobby Bryant. At the 50, the 40, the 35 to 30, the 25 to 20 to 15 to 10 to 5. Touchdown on a blocked field goal. Nate Allen blocked it. Bobby Bryant scooped it up and goes the distance. Unbelievable.
Los Angeles fell behind by 17, but they never lost heart. The Rams pulled to within 4. Time for crucial play number 2.
He drops back to pass. He has protection. Throws the long one over the middle, intended for Clive. Intercepted by Bobby Bryant. Bobby Bryant with his second interception of the game.
This time, the Rams could not recover. For the Minnesota Vikings, victory earned them their 4th Super Bowl appearance in 8 years. Their opponent now would be decided in a gargantuan struggle taking shape in Oakland, California. But the long-awaited rematch was a lopsided affair. Oakland took an early lead, and with Franco Harris sidelined by injury, Terry Bradshaw was forced to play catch-up against unbeatable odds. After 9 years of disappointment, this time Oakland won the AFC title going away. On to Pasadena and Super Bowl 11. The Minnesota Vikings gave it their best shot, but with New England and Pittsburgh behind them, the Raiders were home free. Oakland dominated all facets of play, giving NFL 76 a Super Bowl masterpiece that was 9 long years in the making. So, where 28 teams had set out in pursuit of Super Bowl silver, only one had returned with the prize. In 1977, the rest will challenge Oakland's reign. But NFL 76 belonged to the Raiders.